What's the stupidest thing you've ever heard anyone say? That when you press on the horn of your car, it lowers the amount of air in your front right tire due to it helping make that horn sound. I don't believe in astronomy. We asked her if she meant astrology, and she asked, which is the one where you can tell what stars are made of. We confirmed that was astronomy. Yeah, I don't believe in that. I was walking around the ruins of the ancient cliff dwellings at Mesa Verde just outside of Mancos, Colorado, where the ancient Puebloans lived from approximately 550 AD to 1300 AD when a visitor asked the tour guide why did they build their homes so far from the highway. I can shoot with my left hand, I can shoot with my right hand, I'm amphibious. Apparently when my daughter was first born she looked vaguely East Asian enough, at least, for the nurses to ask if I was sure it was my baby. Now that was an incredibly weird thing to say to a new dad meeting his daughter for the first time, but it wasn't the stupidest thing someone said about this situation. That happened when I was retelling the above story to a client in a meeting. He asked to see a photo of my kid as a newborn, remarked how she really did look Asian, and then proceeded to ask if I thought my child might end up having an Asian accent when she got older. Asked someone if they drove a stick. They responded, "No, I drive a car." Now I have a dad joke I'll remember forever. Stoned friend, what year is February in? Where are you from, China or Asia? My teacher told a class of 16-17-year-olds about that super loyal dog in Japan who walked to the train station daily for 9 years to wait for his owner, who died at work. After hearing that story, a girl raised her hand and asked why didn't somebody just tell the dog? Solar panels will cause a global ice age, because the law of thermodynamics states energy cannot be created or destroyed, so obviously they must be removing heat from the air. With no sense of irony of the scale nor efficiency or lack thereof of solar panels and their capacity to cool. When I was 12 years old, a friend told me smoking is good for you because the smoke makes a shield around your heart when you breathe it in. He argued that the smoke could prevent you from being stabbed or shot. Even at 12 I knew he was a moron. I knew a finance major in college who thought he was worth $20,000 because he had 2 credit cards with $10,000 limit each. Just about an hour ago, my 18 almost 19-year-old daughter says this: I just learned that if you pay for gas with cash and you give them too much, you can get your money back. I told her I feel like I failed as a father. I can jump that far, me. Did you know that in the Cold War there was so cold that the frozen bullet stuck in the guns? My wife and I were vacationing in St. Augustine, Florida, and went to a big cat rescue. This particular one had other animals as well. A few peahens were walking about and a husband asks his wife, "What is that?" The wife replies, "I think that's a turducken." I barely held it together. I was driving with someone and there was a trooper up ahead and I told her to slow down. She said she couldn't because the cop would see the brake lights on the front of her car. Chatting about my friend's upcoming jury duty, she says they wouldn't be up in court unless they'd done it. Maybe not the stupidest thing I've ever heard, but it's in the top 10. My coworkers convinced another coworker that if you count the lines on your hands, that will tell you how many chromosomes you have. If you have over 50 then you're gifted. I think he counted 80 or something and was so excited he told his GF, parents, family etc. to count the lines on their hand. He didn't last much longer at the job. In 8th grade our teacher said that if our essays were 2 or more pages, we had to staple them. The kid next to me deadass asked, "Staple?" My sister once asked why Moy only does paternity tests. Like, are they ever going to do some maternity test episodes? So unfair. I was working at Babies R Us and this lady comes in looking for a baby bath. I bring her over to it and hand her the box. She looks at it, makes a weird face and says, "I don't want my baby speaking Spanish," then sets the box down and walks off. The box had 2 sides. One in English, one in Spanish. To this day I still worry for that child. I had to do a quiz with the kids in an elementary school. I asked this boy the following question: what language do you speak at home? Oh, yeah, I can't speak. Because I'm blind. I had an American, fully grown with children, on Xbox Live ask me, do you have days of the week like we do? I'm from the UK. This was 9 years ago and I still think about it. My buddy playing CS at night completely drunk. B stands for bomb, so what's a then? Atomic bomb. A friend asked us how to spell ESPN so he could look it up online. He asks, how do you spell ESPN? Is it ESPEN? I once had a coworker who believed the dinosaurs didn't exist, as the Bible doesn't mention them. On a funnier note, he also thought right Twix and left Twix were actually two separate products that were made differently. When my friend ordered a cruller donut, the lady remarked, that's the one that looks like a tire. Without missing a beat, my buddy goes, don't all donuts look like a tire? The earth is flat, but all the others are round. What is the sign on bonus? Me 1500. You and HR need to get on the same page because I was just told it was $1,500. Me it is, you said $1,500. In American history class in a high school in California, we were learning about the American Revolution. The teacher was going over all the battles and how bloody and awful they were. A girl raised her hand. Teacher called on her. Her question: so the Americans won, right? There was a kid in my high school who would say things like booger wipes with no context, then laugh at himself like Beavis and Butthead. No, he didn't have Tourette's, he was just an idiot. I have a twin brother. I can't count how many times people have asked me if we are identical. I just dead stare at them until they think through what they asked. If that doesn't work 99 of the time it does, I just say really slowly, no, we have different chromosomes, or occasionally I have to actually explain why boy-girl twins are always fraternal, never identical. You're racist cause you listen to rap. The funny thing was that the person that said this to me got kicked out their friend group cause they said something racist like a month after. Everyone is born with equal opportunities. The money your family has doesn't matter. Life is hard but fair. A kid from my uni who has never gone in public transport. Go back to your country. A Native American. Lived in Australia all my life, but because of my Southeast Asian appearance, I still get the all go back to your own country line thrown at me. Odd thing is, unless you're an Aboriginal Australian or Indigenous Australian, we're all immigrants in one way or another. The moon is a projection. Like 6 months later I was talking to her about stupid things people say, and I brought that up. She just said was me. Girl in my high school class quite a while ago, probably 10th 11th grade or so can you actually see the equator? Like, is it just a line on the ground all the way around the earth? We were in English for master classes and people behind me were having a discussion about animals. One girl says, yeah, humans are mammals, and another one starts laughing saying humans aren't mammals, mammals have 4 legs. The other most stupid thing I've ever heard anyone say was when I was talking to my friends about flamingos and how they're born grey but turn pink when they get older because of their diet. My friend's boyfriend got defensive, told me I was an idiot, that he knew better, that he was going to be a marine biologist, and that flamingos tuned pink because of the sun. Do these stairs go up? I thought Paris was in London. The person in question said all sorts of dumb things and it's obvious it was just an act, but how they could have assumed anyone else could go along with that nonsense is incredible. If drugs are decriminalized, Narcan should be made illegal, because if you want to experiment with drugs you have to accept the consequences. Vote, people. I know for a fact she did. Size of your feet, size of your penis. It was on screen so IDK if it counts somehow. Palpatine returned. I work in IT. It's hard to pick a winner. I once heard my friend yell to my other friend as they walk out of a bathroom that leads to a somewhat crowded mall food court, "I am not washing my hands, those sinks are disgusting." The pyramids were built from the top down before gravity was invented by Newton someone. Can a vagina be so big they'd have no trouble pushing out a baby? In the Arp's defense, they were raised in a Catholic school. I was talking to an older lady in Tasmania. She heard I had a Scottish accent and goes, "Oh, you're from the UK, I've got a good friend from there. You might know her." She then tells me her name and that she's from London and looks at me very hopefully. Unfortunately, I didn't. My ex-husband whom wanted children. You are not getting pregnant because you aren't doing a handstand for it to get there properly. I still hope he never reproduces. Thank God every day I took my birth control. When my aunt asked me, "Well, what were you wearing?" when I told her about something that happened. Haven't spoken since. Can't stand people like that. I cheated on you, BC. You have the possibility to cheat on me. A guy called me a weak liberal because I drive a 20-year-old diesel F-250. Probably one of the least liberal vehicles you can drive. That one was a head-scratcher. Mexico will pay for the wall. Anxiety is just you being insecure, and I think it's a choice. Just stop being insecure. White people don't cause wars. SHS didn't have to say anything. She was smoking a goddamn cigarette at the gas pump. Mount Rushmore was created by natural forces: wind, rain, erosion. Once had a doctor tell me I couldn't be autistic because I have depression. I really wish I was joking. For the record, he is a GP and I haven't been to him since 2020. I'm still looking for a new doctor, but there's a pretty bad shortage of healthcare workers in my province. I don't need sunglasses, it's the winter time. I was in a lecture in college and somehow bald eagles got brought up. Someone has said that they had seen one. I live in Ontario, Canada, and one of the guys in my class said that it's impossible, they are only found in America. His rationale was that because that's the national bird. My follow-up question was where he thought beavers were from. Regarding puberty, my 6-year-old son literally said, "When my voice changes, I hope it's British." My son hopes when his voice changes through puberty it will be a British accent. My wife and I were rolling. Wait, is a million or billion bigger? She was 19. I don't believe the earth revolves around the sun, I believe it revolves around God, so don't harass me for my beliefs. Girl was one of the smartest in my school and fell victim to Canon Kool-Aid. Why did you vote for Brexit? To get rid of the Pakis. Where in Europe exactly is Pakistan? Shocked Pikachu face. If evolution is real, why aren't there cave paintings of it? Why are there so many priests and nuns here? As we were at the Vatican. How do we know World War II is real? Worked with a girl at a grocery store, in Wisconsin, that confidently said that chocolate milk came from brown cows. After trying to convince her it was just flavoring and not believing me, I asked her where pink strawberry milk came from. Her mind was blown. The guy a few years back that tried to convince me that the earth was flat. I asked him to get back to me when he could show me a model of the flat earth that's able to explain the night-day cycle as well as the seasonal cycle, because he was bringing up entirely different models to explain each. That finally brought things to an end. Sometimes you can't fix stupid. I personally believe that US Americans are unable to do so because some people out there in our nation don't have maps. If all the Jews just started believing in Jesus, it would solve so many problems. Looking at the college course catalog, this guy staff teaches a lot of class